Now suppose you are given 2 points and you are to find the equation of the line given these 2 points here, and write the answer in slope-intercept form and in standard form. So first, since we are given here 2 points, the first step is to compute for the slope of the line. The slope is given by the formula change in y, so y sub 2 minus y sub 1 all over the change in x, x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Our y sub 2, you could pick your y sub 2 on any of the points here. So in this case, I could just have x minus 6 minus 6, and you could assign your y sub 2 to any of those points. And also look at the x coordinates. So since I already assigned this to be my y sub 2, then this should be my x sub 2. So my x sub 2 will be negative 8 minus, this would be my x sub 1, 5 over 2. This case here, the slope is equal to 0. The numerator is 0. Divided whatever the denominator is, as long as the numerator is 0, we know that the fraction is equal to 0. In this case, the slope is 0. So if we use the formula y is equal to, so since we have 2 points, so we can actually use, we don't have the y-intercept. So therefore, we will just have y minus y sub 1 is equal to m times x minus x sub 1. Now, you can use any of the given points here to be your point, and you could also, you can use this result here as your slope, and just pick any of the points between either this or this as your as the point that you're going to use for the formula. In this case here, I am going to pick this point here, negative 8, 6. I'm going to use that negative 8, 6 as my point because it doesn't have a fraction, so therefore it is easier. So therefore I have y minus, my y sub 1 is 6, is equal to, the slope is 0 times x minus x sub 1. So this becomes 0, the left hand side, the right hand side here is equal to 0 because the slope is 0. So this one is just 0. So y minus 6 is equal to 0. Y therefore is equal to 6. Now, it's important to take note that since we don't have x here and we only have y equals a constant, this equation here is the equation of a line that is a horizontal, that this one is a horizontal line. Okay, so this is a horizontal line, y equals to 6. So when the slope is actually 0, so you have to take note, when the slope is 0, so when m is equal to 0, we have a horizontal line. Now in this next example here, note that the x coordinates are the same. So if we get the equation of the line, we will have to first compute for the slope. The slope is the change in y over the change in x. So if we're going to get the change in y, we're just going to subtract the y coordinates. We have negative 1/2 minus 9. We can do that. Negative 1/2 minus 9. And the denominator is 3 minus 3. Now notice that the denominator here is equal to 0. Now whatever the 1/2 is, whatever the numerator is, you will have, so even if you don't compute for that numerator, as long as you see that the denominator is equal to 0, we have a slope here that is undefined. So if the slope is undefined, that means that we have a line that is a vertical line. So if it is a vertical line, it is of the form x equal to a constant. So x here, the constant here, is actually equal to 3. So in this case, x equals 3 is the equation of our line. So in the following example here, we will find the equation of the line that passes through these given points. So in this, similar to the previous examples, the first step is to solve for the slope of the line, and that is using the given formula here, which is m is equal to the change in y over the change in x. And then plugging into that equation, you can just set any of the y coordinates here, as your y sub 2. So maybe I can just use 2. That's my y sub 2 minus negative 5. Or you could also have negative 5 as your y sub 2. So if you pick your y sub 2, automatically the x coordinate should be your x sub 2 as well. So since I already picked my y sub 2 as my, I already picked 2 as my y sub 2, then the x coordinate here should also be my x sub 2. So I'll have 2 minus 1. So simplify this, you have 2 plus 5 all over 2 minus 1. 2 plus 5 is 7, 2 minus 1 is 1. The slope is equal to 7. So we have a slope. And then you pick either of the points here, either this or this, as the point that you are going to use to substitute to this formula y minus y sub 1 equal to m times x minus x sub 1 to get the equation of your line. So, and then the slope is equal to 7. Now, you can pick any of those 2 points. So for simplicity, I'll just use, okay, I'll actually pick this negative 1, negative 5 as my my point. So I have y minus, the y coordinate is negative 5, is equal to m is 7 times x minus 1. And then I'll simplify this. I have y plus 5 is equal to, and then I will distribute that to each term here. I have 7x minus 7. So first I'll write it in slope-intercept form. So to do that, I will have to subtract both sides here by negative 5. That gives me y is equal to 7x minus 7 minus 5. That is 7x minus 12. This is the slope-intercept form. So slope-intercept form. Now, if I want to write this in standard form, I will just have to transpose 7x. So I will have to transpose 7x to the other side of the equation. So that would be y minus 7x is equal to negative 12. So this is the standard form. That's the standard form. Now let's have another equation and another example. Let us consider this given 2 points here. We will find the equation of a line in slope-intercept form and in standard form. So first step is to get the slope. So slope is equal to the change in y, so 5 minus 4, over the change in x, negative 7 minus 2. That gives us 1 for the numerator. Negative 7 minus 2 in the denominator is negative 9. Then you use the equation y minus y sub 1 is equal to m times x minus x sub 1 to get the equation of your line. So your m is equal to negative 1, 9, and then you pick any of the given points here to be your point in the equation. So I will, in this case, I will just, I'll choose the second point here as the point that I'm going to use in the formula. So I'll have y minus negative 7. Oops, that's your x. So y minus 5 is equal to m is negative 1 over 9 times x minus negative 7. And then you simplify this. So you have y minus 5 is equal to negative 1 over 9. The double negatives becomes plus, so that is x plus 7. Now a simpler approach also is to remove the denominator here. That is, so to remove this negative 9 here, negative 1 over 9, all we need to do is multiply both sides of the equation here by 9. So we can multiply both sides of the equation by 9, so we will not have any denominator. So and then you distribute this to each term in the parentheses. So you have 9y minus 45. 9 times 5 is 45. And then the 9 here will cancel with the 9 here. So therefore you have negative 1 times x plus 7. Then you distribute this inside the parentheses. So you have 9y minus 45 is equal to negative x minus 7. Then to write this in standard form, we will add both sides by 45 and also add both sides by x. So this one cancels out. So I will also have to add x here. That gives me, so I'm going to add that on both sides. So therefore that gives me 9y plus x is equal to negative 7 plus 45. That is equal to 37. So this is the standard form of your line.